Hi, everyone. Welcome to another session of Excel. We're going to be looking at data, text to columns today. That's the first thing we're going to look at. And we're going to look at different things we can use the text to column for. What text to column does is sometimes you have data on Excel that is just lumped together and you need to split out. Sometimes if you copy from like a PDF file or like a Word document, it comes and you paste in Excel. Sometimes everything just goes on one column and you need it on different columns. So you use text to column to kind of split it out. And also you can use text to column to format to do some conversions, which we'll get to in this session as well. And a lot of times this happens, you have a CSV file that you downloaded from a system, and then it's just messed up. It just comes in one column, and you want to split it into different columns to be able to use the data. In this file, we have all our data in column B, and it's come through the system like this. And we need to split this into the first name, the last name, employee ID, and the full or part-time staff, which is what this data is made of. So this is the first name. It starts with the first name, followed by a comma, then the last name, and then this character, and then you've got a number, which is the employee ID, and then you have either full-time or part-time. The first thing we need to check is what differentiates the data we're trying to split. So in this case, between the first name and the last name, we have a comma. So we can use that comma to separate those two out. And then we have this character, I don't know what it's called, this Wrigley character, that we can use to separate the last name and the employee ID. And then we have a space in between the employee ID and the full-time or part-time, which you can use to split that. So the first thing we do is we select the data we want to split. So select all the way down and then go to data and text to columns. So you click on text to columns. I'm going to move the box to the side here. And once you open text to column, depending on the type of data you have, it either defaults to delimited or fixed width. Delimited means that you have some characters that you're going to use to split the data, in this case, which is right in this case.
Sorry, please, what did you press to get that box? Where did you press?
To get this box, you go to data, up here, and text to columns.
Okay.
And then, depending on your type of data, it either defaults to delimited or fixed width, but it doesn't really matter. Just pick the one that you feel is appropriate to use. In this case, it's delimited that we're using because we have characters that we can use to split this data. And
my own says Microsoft Excel can only convert only one column at a time. The range.
That's because you have selected two columns. So if you select only your data, the data is on column B, it's in column B.
Oh, okay.
Because it can only split one column at a time. So if you select more than one column, then it would come up with that error message.
Okay.
So if you try it again and just select your data on column B.
I'm just selecting it now.
Okay.
So you select the data and you go to where?
And you go to data and text the column. So data, text the columns. And then you have a preview window here where you can see your data.
Yeah.
And this is step 1 of 3. And then once you pick what you want to use to split your data, either delimited or fixed width, then you click on next. And then you go to step 2. On step 2, you still have your data preview. And if you remember, between the first name and the last name, we have a comma. So I'm going to use a comma to delimit. I'm going to click comma here. And you can see what has happened in the preview. You can see that it's actually split that data using the comma. And then I want to use this, I want to split this further, the last name and the other characters. So I need to use that wrinkly character. What's it called? I don't know what it's called. I can't even find, yeah, I can find it on my keyboard. So I'm going to use other character here, and I'm going to put that character in the box. Can you see what has happened? So it will totally replace that character and it will split that data. And I also want to split by space between the ID and either full-time or part-time. So I'm going to click on space. So effectively, I'm using 3 things to split this. And you might ask that, what if I have more? Yeah, please go ahead.
Do you mind repeating the process again, please?
Okay. So I'm going to cancel this. Select your data, click on data, text to column, select delimited, and go to next. Oh, okay. I'm going to unselect all this. And because it defaults to what you've done before, which is why it's come up with that. So the first thing we want to split the first name and the last name. And what we can use to split that is the comma. So I select comma here. And once I select it, you can see what is happening to the data in the preview. It will split. And then I want to split between the last name and the employee ID. I have this character, which I'm going to use to split. So you check your order and put your character, whatever the character is, you put it in here, and then you can use that to split. And then I want to split between the employee ID and either full-time or part-time. So I can use a space to split. And you can actually see the split in your preview window before you finish.
Can you select the delimiters in any order? Or
You can select it in any order. So if I select it in any order, for instance, if I start with order, it splits that. If I add space to it, it splits that. And if I add comma. So it doesn't really matter the order you select it, as long as you just select what you want to use to delimit. That's it. And then you go to next. And step 3 is where you want to put the data. If you look at this destination here, B4, it's going to put it in B4. So it's
So
going
how
to
do you
put
get that asterisk, that little symbol that you put on?
it's on the key, you know, on my keyboard is on the hash. You know the hash button?
Yeah, but how do you get to put that? Because I put it's giving me a different sign. Mine's on the hash button as well, but I'm trying to figure out how to get the
Yeah, did you press the shift button?
Hold your shift key down. Hold your shift.
shift. It's not working. Oh, shit. No, it's not working.
Is it not working? Are you doing it in the text wizard, the text column wizard? Maybe try it outside. Try it somewhere else before.
Okay, then
To know
copy
how
and
you
paste it.
get that key. Yeah, you can copy and paste really.
Get the key, but yeah. I'm not getting the key.
You're not getting the key.
No, I've been trying different.
Maybe there's something wrong with your keyboard. Maybe it's not there. Because sometimes I know some keyboards are weird. They interchange somehow.
Yeah, oh, that's all right. That's what I'll figure out.
You can for as a shortcut just copy it from the data. Copy it and
Yeah.
paste it to where you want it.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Cheers.
And then on the destination, it's if you look at this destination B4, it's gonna put the data that I'm splitting in B4. And I don't want it in B4. I want the data to start from D4. So I can easily just change this to D4 or click on D4. Because I want the data to start from here, cell D4, all the way to the side.
Is there a reason why in the destination it has the dollar symbol? So does that mean it's locked there?
Yeah, it's locked there. It just defaults to that, but it doesn't really have to be. So I don't think it matters if it's not, if I do, well, I think it just defaults to the dollar.
Okay.
So even when I clicked it, it came up with the dollar sign. So it defaults.
Okay.
And then we need to click finish. And this is our data, all split into 4 different columns.
That's really nice.
Sorry, Kem.
Yeah,
So you put an equal to in the destination part.
it defaults to that.
My one did not default to that.
What?
Wait, you know the destination, right?
Yeah,
You know you change it to D.
let's see. Let's see. Next.
You know you change it to D, right?
I
We are
changed it
moving
to
to
D.
D. So
Yeah.
you now you put equal to.
Did I?
Yeah, there I saw equal to at some point, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
there
see.
was. I saw that.
Seems
So
not
the-
to matter then because it worked, but it doesn't have to be there.
Well, it doesn't have to be there. But you are selecting it outside. You're going to select it
If
outside.
I selected it outside and I think it defaults, it just defaults to equal to.
Okay. I was wondering, yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, it defaults to that.
Okay.
So I don't think it matters if it has equal to or not.
Okay.
And finish. And then it splits into 4 different columns. You'll be wondering that how do we split it if we have more than because we have a limited amount of characters, right? If we have more than, so here we're able to split into 4. If we have more than this number of characters, how do we split it?
Please, what's the question? I didn't understand.
If we were able to split this all at once,
Yeah.
but if we have more than these characters, if we have other characters that we need to split, for instance, if we need to split with maybe 3 other characters, how do we do that?
Don't you just finish this one and then you go back and you select the next tab and you start all over again?
Yeah, we just finish and just select the next one and do it again. And also sometimes it's not as straightforward as this. Because sometimes you might not have all these characters in the data. So because this is the sample data, it's kind of like perfect. But you might not have all these characters to use to split. And then you might have to do some other things before you can use your text to column. So for instance, maybe if you don't have you can use something like I think it was last week that we used the formula right length and stuff last week.
Yes, 2 weeks ago.
Was it? Oh yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, wasn't here last week. So it might be that you might need to insert a special character to be able to split your data. So depending on what you're working with, you might need to insert a special character. It might be if there's a space, just put this character and use that to split it. So that's the first bit of a text to column. And then we can also use the text to column to convert dates. And we do that on the step 3. So we go through it the same way. We do the text to column, So we select the data, we go to text column. Delimited is fine, doesn't really matter. Next, we don't have anything here. We're not splitting this data. And then we go to next. And what we have here is, so we've got the date here. And you can actually change the format of your dates here because these are dates and we're trying to change it. So if we change it to MYD, let's finish it. Some changed, some did not. So 1505.
Or did you press MYD or MDY?
Let me see.
MYD.
Next. So I did MYD. Let's try another one. DYM.
So why did some not change?
It might be the format of this. Let's see.
Oh.
Next. This. So for some weird reason, I would expect because this is like this starts with a month. So I would expect to convert it to like day, month, and no, this is month, year, and date. Let's see, day, month, and year. Nope. Nope. This is something weird happens with this. So this is starting with day, month, and let me just change. Let me make it so. Just checking why this did not convert. So I'm trying to convert it to start with the day and then month and year. Data text column. Next. I want default to day, month, and year. Yeah. Okay, I'll undo that. So text column. Next. So for some weird reason, MDY is actually the UK format where it starts with the day and then the month and the year. I would have expected it to be day, month, year. So this is MDY and then finish. And then this converts it to, it starts with the day and the month and the year. I know we've added that depending on where you are or where you're based, this works differently depending on where you are, really. But you can, do a trial and error and see which one works for what you want to do to convert your date. So in this,
I think it converts with the country your laptop is programmed to, like the country you select. Yeah.
Yeah, so so that affects it because I remember there was someone that had the American one and it didn't work. So I will just try whichever works, as in to convert it to what I want it to do. And then we can use that also to convert text to numbers. So if you have like numbers, So you have numbers saved as text. We know that if we have numbers on a spreadsheet and it's saved and it's formatted as a text, you can't do anything with that number because Excel will not recognize it as a number. So if you're trying to like add or subtract, it wouldn't work because Excel is seeing it as a text and not a number. So I have some numbers here that are formatted as a text. And this is just checking if it's text or not. So it's just a simple formula to check if the cell, if it's a text or if it's a number. So is it text? False. So this is a number. And then, so that is why it's false. We want to now convert it to a text. So we have numbers and we want to convert to a text. So I will select all this. I'm going to select alphabet and do text to column. And then it will be going to the last step as well. So click next until we get to step 3 of 3. And then this is what we use to convert to text and then finish. And then it's converted this bits that I selected to text. And of course, if you want to convert back to number, you can either use your number, you convert to number here, or you can multiply by 1, or you can use number value to convert it back to number.
Sorry to take you back, but I didn't see how you converted it. It was a bit quick.
Okay, I'm going to undo that. So I've selected the bit I want to convert, which is just this bit here. And it's still the same data, text to column. And we're using the last step for this. So I'll just click next and next until I get to step 3 of 3. And all I need to do is click on this text here and finish. And that will convert it to text. So I've just converted this bit to text. And this is just checking if it's text or not. But if it's a text, you can see with it will always give you this green thing.
So how do you read the text in this numbers?
How do you?
Because you say obviously you convert these numbers to text. I'm thinking,
text.
where is the text?
Oh, is the format that is a text.
Or is the
So
format
it's formatted as a text, yeah. So what you have done now is it's formatted as a text. So if you want to add these two together, for instance, if you do equal to this plus this, well, that worked. I wasn't expecting it to work. Equal to, okay. Yeah, I can't see my base. I'm trying to see if he adds it at the base. No, I can add this. Yeah, okay. So if I select this down, you would expect to find the sum at the base, right? Well, there's no sum because it's formatted as a text, so it will just count the characters. So there are some things you won't be able to do because it is formatted as a text. Let's see if we can equal to sum. When I try to sum this, because it's formatted as a text, it's not working. Because it's recognized as a text and not numbers. As against, where is this changing to? As against trying to sum. So let me try and sum these two, for instance. Equal to sum. Does this So I try to sum these two numbers here. And because one is formatted as a text and one is a number, it only recognizes this number, which is why it's coming up with 10446. And that's because this is a text. If I convert this back to number, that will change to the actual sum. So that's how you use text to column to convert to text, and then to convert your dates. Are we clear on text to columns?
Yeah.
I just want to ask a question with regards to the date.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you can format the date so that instead of the month being a number, it will actually be written out? Is that possible with this?
Yes, yes, it's possible, but not with this function. You have to use your formatting. You have to format it. So if you right click and format cell, you're going to ask you can, if you use the date, is this the format you want?
Yes.
So if you pick this format, it comes out as a month.
Okay.
If you don't want there's another, you can also use, if you go to format cells, let's see. You can also go to custom, and on custom, if you pick this one, for instance, and okay, you have that.
Okay.
So you have more formats on the custom, so you can change it. So if it's just date and month you want, and then it comes up with the date and month. So you can use your formatting to do that.
Thank you.
And then we can, there's another, okay, yeah. Before we leave this, I'm going to touch on removing duplicates data. I'm just gonna just see. I just put some data here. And if you have a long line of data, you remember how we identified duplicates when we're doing VLOOKUP. So you might be like, you have a data that you want to identify duplicates, or you just want to remove duplicates. So you can select the data and go to your remove duplicates here. It's under your data function, and remove duplicates. So if you click on remove duplicates, it will ask you where you want to remove the duplicates. But before I do this, let me identify the duplicates first. So I'm going to go to Home, Conditional Formatting, highlight all rules, and duplicate values. So I've highlighted my duplicate values. These are the ones that duplicate on this spreadsheet, in this data. So you might want to highlight it to actually check that they're duplicates first. And if it's something, if what you're doing, you need to remove the duplicates, you can select the data, go to data, and remove duplicates. And then duplicates from column C and OK. And it's going to tell us how many duplicates were removed. So it's now removed the duplicate, which is why it's no more highlighted, because there's no more duplicates in this data. Another function you can use is I don't have that function, but if you have a newer version of Excel, you can use the unique. If you do unique and just open your bracket and put your data in, I don't have that function, so it's not going to work. you can, I think someone had a newer version of Excel, if I remember correctly. If you try that, then it would work. So you can actually, use that unique function to remove your duplicates. And one other thing I need to show you is data validation. And sometimes you have data. When you're filling a form and you're meant to like pick items from a drop-down value. So the way you do that is by putting in a data validation and limiting the selection to those values you want to pick. So let's look at this. I'm gonna do this again. The text columns. I have the data. Next. Okay. So I want. I'm just gonna pick some. I just want unique names here. So I'm going to remove duplicates. Okay. So I have some unique. No, I don't want up to this. Let me just this. So you have a form that you want people to probably fill out, and maybe you want a particular data in it. Just assume, okay, I have name here. And I don't want you to just, it can only be one of these 6 people. So I don't want you to put in any other. So I can put like a data validation in here and add a list in so that anytime you want to fill this field, it would only allow you. I mean, you can do it that it only allows you to pick this. Sometimes you can make it optional. So what I would do is I would go to data validation, and then on that cell, I want a list, and then it's going to ask me where is the list from. So I'm going to make it, this is my list, and okay. So if you go to this cell, you can see there's a drop down arrow. So there's a drop down arrow here, and if you click on the drop down arrow, you only have all these options. That is what you can put. Let's pick Abby. Let's go to the next one and see. Can you see what has happened? So I'm trying to put Joe in this cell, but because I've limited it to only accept this list, it would not work. Even if I retry, it will still not work. So I'm only limited to picking from this list. Did you get that?
Can you please redo the data validation stuff, please?
Okay. I'm going to do that again. Okay. So I want name here, and I only want you to be able to type in, to put in these 6 options. I don't want any other thing there apart from 6 options. I mean, you use things like this, especially like in cells where people might like make an error, or you want them to just limit their answers to a particular field because maybe another field is dependent on those cells. So you use a data validation. And if you select the cell, I'm going to select these 5 cells. I'll click on data validation. And it's going to ask for my validation criteria. So I want to allow only from a list. And from the drop down, and it's going to ask me for my source. Where do I want this list to come from? I can just select this. That's my list. And okay. If you go to the cell, it would have a drop-down arrow by the side, allowing you to select from that my already pre-set list. So I can select Abraham. I can select Ada. If for some reason I want to put another name, Kevin, for instance, it's not going to let me put it because it's not from that list. Those cells are only limited to this list, so you can't put it. If you want them to start with this list and you still want them to be able to put any other thing, if you go to the data validation and validation criteria, we still have, let's see. Let's look at custom. Anybody? No, that will take it completely. I mean, there's a way. Maybe you can overwrite this, but I think you can overwrite it. Depending on, I think you can set it to be overwritten. One thing you can also do is your error message, you can put your error message. Okay, yeah, this is where it can be, so when user enters invalid data, you might either do a warning, or let's try warning first, okay? And let's enter Joe here. Yeah, so when you do a warning, it's going to warn you that it does not match it. This value doesn't match the data validation restrictions defined for this cell. Continue, yes. So you can actually overwrite it. So with a warning, and you can customize your warning as well. So it might be, let's see, data validation. So the style is warning. The error message might be, it might be, please pick from list or check with HR, for instance. Let's see. Okay. So if I do Joe, so it's gonna please pick from list or check with HR, and you can override that. Yes. So is that clear?
Yeah, yeah.
And then it might be like just information. If we pick from, then if we say Kate, let's see what happened. Please pick from list or check with HR. Okay. So depending on what you want to do, you can do like, you can strictly restrict to that list that you specified, or you can put a warning, or you can like pass information across on what they should do if they put a different, if they put something different than what you're expecting. Okay, and that's just data validation. I would And then we can go to the next file. We can go to the next file. I'll close this and I'm going to share the other file. So the other file is actually, this other file is actually an interview exercise for a data analyst role. And you're given some time to complete it. And you're given the data, which is in part 1, data. And you have some questions on the instruction. So your instruction says, use the information in the part 1 data. So you're meant to create pivot tables and put your pivot tables under part 1 pivot tables. Create as many pivot tables as necessary and create separate pivot tables for each component of the report template as outlined below. Use this information to populate the part 1 of the report template. You're meant to format the template as appropriate. And they give you some information about the data, the financial year, fiscal years from April to March. And the first thing you're meant to do is populate the department head count in the first table. So you have a table. Yeah. I'm just gonna put the account. This is what we're meant to populate in the first table. I'm gonna please in your template, just put department name, active permanent head count, active non-permanent head count, and total active head count. That's what is missing from this table. So we're meant to populate this data this table based on the data we have here. So how do we populate this table? What's the first thing to do to populate this table?
How do you get the department name and how do you get this blue part again?
This one?
Yeah.
Is missing from your file. If you just put in type in department name, active permanent, if you type all this in your file, I'm gonna put it. Where's the chat? I'll put that in the chat. For some reason I can't send a message to everyone, so I've sent it to Ayo. Ayo, can you send this to everyone, please?
Okay.
So what we want to populate is these 4 columns here. You want the department name, the active permanent head count, an active non-permanent head count, and then the total active head count. What's the first thing we need to do with this data?
We need to put in columns and separate some columns, text formula.
Sorry?
He said, what's the first way to do with the data? I think we need to do the text format, right? To format the data, right, first.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Did you ask me what do you do with the data?
Yeah, what should we do first? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I try?
Yeah.
Is it to remove the duplicates?
No, we can't remove the duplicates. They haven't asked, they've given us data to analyze. We can't remove duplicates. What you mean is we need to summarize it, right?
We create, I think the first thing they ask is to create a pivot table.
Yeah, we need to create a pivot table because that's the way you can summarize this. If you look at this data, we are looking at 27,777. And there's a reason why they've done it like that, because there's no, you can't do it manually. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create a pivot table. We can't do without having a pivot table. Number one, we don't even know the number of departments we have here. So the first thing I'll do is create a pivot table. Let's create one pivot table here. How do we create pivot tables again? From I think was it our second session?
First session.
Yeah, first session. Okay, let's create this pivot table. How do we do it?
So you have to select what you want.
Select our data.
Yeah.
We're gonna select our data up to the very end. Okay.
And then you go to insert.
Insert.
And then you pick pivot table.
Pivot table. And where do we want to put this pivot table?
In the new worksheet.
The pivot table worksheet, yeah?
It's going to be a pivot table because they said we should put it under pivot table. So we're going to put it here. And we're going to click here. That's where we want to put it.
Kemi, I just want to ask a question. What do you press to go to the last bit of the table?
This bit?
So let's say for example you want to select your table. You know when you highlight it, when you want to go to the end of the table, last row.
Oh, you do your Control Shift and your down button.
Okay, Control Shift down. Okay, thank you.
So Control Shift and press your down button and you get to the end. Another way to select it is if you click anywhere and do Control A, it selects the whole table. But always make sure you have the whole table selected, the whole data, sorry, selected. So we go to insert pivot table. We want it in an existing worksheet and we want it here. So, okay. And then we have the canvas. So what do we need to put on our pivot? What fields do we need to put on our pivots? Based on the report template, we need the department's name. So we'll first go to department's name. Where do we put the department's name?
Please, a minute, please. After creating the pivot table, like, how did you bring it down to the pivot column, as in the pivot worksheet?
How did I bring it to?
Yeah, how did you move it to the pivot worksheet that was already created?
Oh, you select the cell, you select where you want it. So what we did was, after selecting this, when you insert your pivot table, it's going to ask you, choose where you want the pivot table to be placed.
Yeah.
And then, because we already have an existing, they actually asked us to put it on part 1 pivot tables. So you click on the existing worksheet and go to your part 1 pivot table, click anywhere there. So we click just cell and then okay. But it's not going to work because there's already a pivot there, so it won't overlap the pivot. Okay. So the first thing we need here is the report. We need the report, the name of departments. So in our report template, we need the department's name. So that's the first thing we need to be looking for on our pivots. Thanks. So we've got a department name. Where do we put the department name? Let's see if we still remember our pivots. Can anyone help us?
What did you say again, please?
Where do we're trying to populate this pivot table. Thank you.
On the column now.
We put it on the column. Why do we put it on the column? Let's try it. Let's put it on the column. Department name. Is that what we want to do?
No, sorry, on the row. That was
On the
on the
row.
rows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's put it on the row. So we have our department name on the rows. Okay. What else do we need as part of this?
The active permanent headcount.
So we need active permanent headcount. And our data, we have active and we have permanent. So we need active permanent headcount and we need active non-permanent headcounts. So we don't need any non-active. So we can use this employee status to filter the data on our pivots. So if we go to pivots and use the employee status as a filter so that we can filter out the non-active. Employee status. If we use that as a filter, we know that they're not asking us for any non-active. So we are only interested in active at this point in time. So what we need to do is filter out anything that is not active. So what we want is just active, which is why we've added employee status on the filter. And then what else do we need from the report template? We need permanent and non-permanent, right? So we need permanent and non-permanent. And what we're looking for is the head count. So where is the state permanent and non-permanent is on type. So where do we put that type on our pivots? Where do we put type on our pivots?
Top on the row.
Type on the row?
Yep.
Will that work on the row? Let's see.
Or we can use it as
column.
As filter.
If we use that as a filter, because we need both, not one or the other. I think it will work better if we put the type on a column. We're interested in active, permanent, and non-active, non-permanent. So it would definitely work better when we put it on a column. And we're looking for head count, so the count of staff. So we'll put the employee count on the values. So we want permanent active and we want non-permanent active. And we know bank staff, our contract are temporary, they are non-permanent. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the format of this pivot table options. I'm going to change it to the classic pivot table layout. And then we want permanent. Yep.
I'm a little bit behind.
Okay, where are you?
I mean, I've only just created the pivot table and I just wonder how you got the type, bank staff, contract, and permanent. Did you just copy and paste that?
No. So this is under our type. Don't forget that once you create your pivot table, then you start putting data, you start selecting whatever you want on your pivots. So the bank staff, contrary, permanent, they are the types of employment, which is under type here. And I've just put that on the column. So you put your type on the column.
Okay.
And then your employee counts under values.
Employee count under values. Okay.
Did you get that?
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay. Does it look like this?
Kind of. Did you filter anything from the department name?
The employee status. Do you have the employee status as a filter? So we only want active employees. So you need to use the employee status as your filter, and then filter out the rest. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I am. I'm there now.
Okay.
It doesn't quite look the same though.
Maybe if you right click, go to pivot table options.
Right click. Yeah, pivot table option.
And then go to display and select the classic pivot table layout.
Display. I don't know what display is. Okay, display here.
Display.
And then
classic pivot table layout.
Okay.
And it should look like this.
Okay, I just don't have, you have more values under the column of type bank staff. I don't have enough.
What do you have under your type and stuff?
Only 18 and 1. But I think it's because I didn't select the whole data.
Oh yeah, you have to select the whole data. Yeah, so it's never going to look like this if you don't select the whole data. Okay, so back to our report template. So we have a permanent, we have temporary. We know we're interested in active permanent. I'm going to move that as the first bit here. And we're interested in active non-permanent headcounts. So we're interested in this for one column, and then I need the sum of bank staff, contracts, temporary staff in the second column. So the first thing we'll do is simple copy and paste. I'm going to copy my department name. The issue is that you can actually, I'm going to paste it here. So that's my department's name. I have my department's name. And then my active head counts, you can actually really just copy. So I have my active, these are my permanents.
How did you drag permanent to swap it with bank staff?
So just drag, just select it and just drag it. So like that temporary, when you select it and just the normal dragging, when you have those 4 arrows, you can press it down and just move it. And then you see it moving.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Okay.
So once you do this, your active head count, so this is your active permanent. So this active permanent head count, we filtered out the non-active. These are your permanent staff. So you can just copy that. I can paste that here. This is your total. You can I'll just put a sum here. And then we want the active non-permanent head counts. I mean, you can easily just, because we're just copying and pasting, you can easily just put a simple formula to make it equal to, it will be sum of these 3 here. And because we've copied exactly as the pivot table is, so there's really, we can just sum it all the way down like that. And it will pick the right data. I'll extend my sum to these cells here. And then the total active head count should be the sum of these 2. And you drag that down. At the end of the day, this our total here must match what we have as the total on the pivots. And that's your table. Let's go back to our question, instructions. So populate the department headcount data in the first
Sorry,
table.
Kemi.
Yeah.
You see that addition that you just did now is kind of not working for me.
Okay, which one is not working for you?
So I said, the non-active, we said equal to sum.
Yeah, yeah.
We now went on to highlight we went on to the other sheets.
Yeah.
Highlight those sum. So
It's
not working for me.
Why is it not working? What's it saying?
I don't sorry about my background. So yeah, so if I write that and I highlight it, it just says it says let me go back there. It's 0, it's giving me 0, not 9.
What are you selecting?
I'm selecting.
Do you want to share your screen?
Okay. Do you want to stop sharing so I can share?
Yeah, I think, okay, stop sharing, of course, okay? Yeah.
So this is my table, right? So I put equal to sum.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I go there, I highlight it.
Okay.
And I put a bracket to close it.
Yeah.
But it was not, I'm telling you before, it was just saying 0.
Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So and that's our table done. Okay, sorry. Let me continue sharing. Share. So based on our instruction, we've done the first table. We populated the first table. It says format the template as appropriate. I mean, because the set table here, I'll probably like format as a table. Format as table. I'll just probably do format as table. Just to satisfy all righteousness. Just okay. My data as it is, so I just want format as table. Let's do this. My data as it is, okay. And that is a table. Not liking this table. This formatting. See, format as table. And another one.
I'm sorry. It's not like I want to drag us back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, this because I stepped out to attend to my son a little anyway. This report template, I didn't get the whole stuff. How we brought our
It's not how you
report into the template. Yeah.
This report, sorry, you don't have this.
No, I mean, yeah, I have. I stopped right with the pivot table, but the reports template. I don't know how you brought the stuff over there. Right?
So did you get to the end of the pivot table?
Yes.
Yeah. So all we did for the report is we copied this and pasted on the template. So you copy and paste here. We have our active permanent is the first column here. So we just copied and pasted here. And therefore our active non-permanent is a sum of bank staff, temporary, and contracts. So we just put a formula in here just to sum these three cells. And that is it. So you just sum and drag that down. And then you put a sum, you sum the two here, put totals, which are just sums, really. Is that okay?
Yes.
So they're just mainly sum. We're just adding them up. Because we already have our pivot table, which summarizes anyway. And the only reason why we're summing is because
I think my pivot table is a bit messed up with the column, like where you have your bank staff, your permanent type, which is type permanent. I think I have bank staff there. I think I didn't arrange mine properly anyway.
Yeah, you can arrange it, and you can also like just copy where you have your permanent staff to here, and then where you have the temporary, you can just do a sum equal to this plus this plus this.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have actually missed something. And you know what we have missed? We have missed the fact that we need to do this for 2022-23 and not for everything. So we have completely ignored that instruction. It says populate the department head count data in the first table for 22-23. So we need to do one more thing on our pivots, and that is we need to filter by the year. So I'm going to go back to the pivots. We need to bring in the year. And because we only need year 22-23.
I just put this in the filter.
Sorry, someone said something.
I said just put another filter.
Yeah, we need to put another filter. So we're going to put the filter here. Why is it overlapping? Okay. Alright, so I want it to overlap my instruction. So fiscal year, and we're going to filter out. So we only need 22-23. So we're going to filter out the others, leaving 22-23. Yeah.
Sorry, how did you convert this to at the table? How did you make it classic again? Sorry.
So you right click anywhere on your pivot, go to pivot table options.
Okay. Thank you.
Display and classic.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got less, obviously, because we are only looking at 1 year. We just need to check. We need to check our data and make sure that. So our data would have changed. Don't forget that we copied and pasted, which is a shortcoming of copying and pasting. Because if we've used VLOOKUP, then we need to change our table because it would work. So because we copied and pasted, sometimes it's better for your data to be formula driven. Otherwise, you might have to do the work again. So let's use the VLOOKUP for this.
Please, how did you get the filter for the year? What did you do?
The total for the year.
The filter for the year.
Oh, the filter, that's the year, the fiscal year. Just put it under filter.
Oh, okay.
Just put your fiscal year under filter with employee status.
Later. And then.
So this time around, we're not going to copy these figures. We're going to use a VLOOKUP.
My copy and paste did not work. It did not like the data did not change according to like what the new filter, the copy and paste. We did copy and paste. My data didn't change.
Yeah, your data would not. That's what I'm saying. That your data would not change because we did copy and paste.
Okay.
So we took the lazy method. We should have done a VLOOKUP.
Okay.
So we are now going to do a VLOOKUP.
Okay.
So right now we're going to do a VLOOKUP. This one, the non-permanent ones will change because that is formula driven.
Yes.
But the first one that we copied and pasted, because it's hard-coded, it will not change. So this time around, we're going to use a VLOOKUP to pull this information in. So what do we do? How do we look at what formula should we put? VLOOKUP?
You put equal sign,
Equal to
VLOOKUP,
VLOOKUP.
and then I don't know again.
At least get to open a bracket. When you open a bracket, then you know. You know why? Because once you open your bracket, it will prompt you. It will show you what you need to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So always like just open a bracket.
Then you go to the FX, isn't it? The F at the top.
And then it's sorry? Yeah, you can do FX. We can type it directly. So if you're typing it, it's asking you for your lookup value. What are we looking up? What's our lookup value?
From A.
Our lookup value is A4.
A4.
Yeah, A4. Comma. What's our table? Where are we looking up from? Where are we looking the data?
The whole table.
That's the
Pivot table.
that's pivot tables.
Which is from. I'm going to select my pivot table. And in this case, what column are we looking up?
Column A.
No,
A
we're looking for permanent, so it's 2.
Sorry, two.
And it's comma false. We want an exact match, right? There's a problem with my formula. Yes, I know. That's because of here. Comma 2, comma false. And just to check, that's 106. We're expecting 106, right? And what do we do?
Drag down.
We can drag it down. And then every other thing will change because it's formula driven. So we should be having 9,083. So always ensure that you double check. And when you're doing this in an interview,
can you come again with the VLOOKUP formula, please?
You want us to do the VLOOKUP again?
Don't worry, I'm seeing the formula at the top already. Just a minute. I'm typing it out, yeah.
So you're meant to like click it and not type it out.
But why is there an @ sign in next to department name this time?
Because this is formatted as a table. And because it's formatted as a table, it becomes smarter.
My car keys right there.
So if we are not formatted as a table, then it will just show as cell A4. But because we've formatted as a table, it works smarter, which is why, because I clicked on the cell.
Okay.
So now that this table is formula driven, I mean, if it is an interview, this is a real life interview question, I would rather put a VLOOKUP because it shows that you know it than copying.
Sorry, your camera is.
Sorry?
I'm just giving Busayo a heads up. His camera was on.
Okay. So anyhow we change this pivot table now, our report template would work. It would just follow through because everything is formula driven. So let's go back. Let's check our instructions again. So populate the department headcount data in the first table for 22.
Sorry, Kemi. Sorry to take us back, because I'm doing mine. I don't know. It's just saying the hashtag split is not working. So I don't know if you can try do that pivot again one more time, please.
I don't understand.
You can do the VLOOKUP one more time, please.
Okay.
Just yeah, if you can just do one more time, please.
equal to
Yeah.
VLOOKUP.
Yeah.
Open a bracket.
Yeah.
Our lookup value is
Yeah.
comma.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up in this table, comma 2, comma 4.
Did you highlight did you highlight the headers?
It doesn't really matter.
Okay, okay.
What matters for your table selection in VLOOKUP is for whatever you're looking up to be on the first column.
Okay. Then, but if you are selecting the range, you have to select the header too.
You don't have to select the header
Oh, yeah.
because you're not looking up anything in the header anyway. You don't have to select the header.
Okay.
You can just select from here. It doesn't matter. As long as you're selecting where the data is coming from.
Okay.
So that's part one. That's the table done. That's the head count data in the first table. We've got that. And then it says create a table of overall total female and male counts for 2022 to 23. So we need another pivot to count the female and male. We don't need this by departments. We just need a table of total female, total male 22, 23. What do we do? So we're meant to put the table of overall total female and male counts here. And in our instruction, we are meant to create as many pivots as required. So I think because we already have one pivot anyway, there's no point doing another pivot. So why don't we use these pivots? So I would select these pivots. I'll copy these all pivots. I'm going to copy these all pivots. Control C. I'm going to put the pivot here, just by the side. And I'm going to use these pivots. So we have the pivots. They said they don't need departments, right? The first thing we need to take out, let's take out the departments. So I would unselect the departments. And what they want is female or male. They don't need active or non-active. And we need the fiscal year. So we don't need employee status. The type, we don't need type. What we need is female or male, right? So I'll sub that column for female or male. And this is just it. We need total female, total male, total female and total male. We'll put female and male here. This looks better. So that's all we have. So but however, one thing, we have a filter on employee status because we copied that pivot. So I'm going to release the filter on employee status. Yeah. Employee status, there shouldn't be a filter, yeah. So 9.4, because I expect this to be more than what we have here. So we have a total of 9,093 here. This is 9,402. So this is just what they're asking us. And and we're meant to create a table of total female and male counts. We're meant to, it's a table, they want a table, not a pivot. So we already have our pivots here. And then battery is running low. Okay. So we can put a table here of total, I mean, I can copy and paste really. I mean, female or male, I can put head counts here and total. Let's convert it to all format as table. I mean, just to show that you know what you're doing. Oh, why? Where am I? What's happening with my text? Okay, I don't like that table format.
I think for the sake of consistencies, we can use the previous one, the one that we used there.
We can use this format.
Yeah.
Format this. Yeah, why not? We can format things, format it. So table of overall male counts for head counts, I will do 2022 to 23. That's all we're asked to do for that bit. And then the instruction says create a pie chart of the overall total active and leave counts for 22-23. So we have another pivot to do, and that will be overall total active and leave counts. We already have our pivots. We can just copy and continue to paste and just, chop and dice it. It's still 22-23. We want this time around, we want total active and leave. So who is active, who is on leave? So that would be on, where is that data? Employee status again. So we can take off male and female and put back employee status. So they want just the male and female. No, sorry, active or leave. They're not interested in unknown. So I can uncheck the unknown, and then I have this. What are we meant to do with that? We're meant to create a pie chart with that. So we need to create a pie chart, okay? So is it our first lesson? Let's create a pie chart we're meant to put a pie chart here. What do we do? How do we create a pie chart? Pie chart, anyone? This is our data for pie charts.
From the pivot pie chart.
Okay. So pivot table and then pivot chart. So we have a pivot chart and we're looking for a pie chart. Okay? And okay. This is our chart. And you can copy this and put on our report template. That is our pie. That's our pie chart. I'll make it a bit bigger. Okay, it's as simple as that. We can change the chart. I mean, if it's a particular company that you're interviewing for, if you know their colors, you can change it to like their colors. And you can put a pie label. So this can be active versus leave. And then just play around with it so that they know what you're, just to show that you know what you're doing if you have time. And then we've got a pie chart, and then we are meant to create a line chart of overall head counts by fiscal year. So we need another pivot, and we need this by fiscal year, and we need to create a line chart. So as usual, we don't need another pivot. We'll just copy this and I'll paste it, Control V. Okay. And what do we need this time around? We need head counts by fiscal year. So we need just fiscal year and the head counts. Are you still with me?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Good.
Probably we'll watch the video over again.
So I'm going to clear my fields. So we need fiscal year. So in this case, we don't want fiscal year as filter anymore. We need it in the row. And then we need all the years. So select all. And we just need sum of head counts of employee by fiscal year. That's what they're asking for. So create a line chart of overall head count by fiscal year. So overall head count by fiscal year. So this is our overall head counts. Just to be sure that we've captured everything, I will do a quick check on the data just to make sure that, when I add all this together, what I have is the sum is 27780. Always good to always double check just to make sure that you have not left anything out of your selection.
Yeah, sorry, Damu, to take us back a little. For the part of the active and leave,
Yeah.
you remove the unknown.
Yeah. That's because they only asked us for active and leave.
Okay, so we just remove the unknown from the how do you remove the unknown from the?
I just filtered it out.
Oh, you just filtered. Okay.
Yeah, so on the filter here,
put that
employee
on
status.
Put the
Yeah.
on filter. Okay.
And also, this is open to interpretation anyway, because you might decide to leave the unknown with it. So I just look at the unknown because I think it's subjective, really. So they
I
might
don't
want
know
us to.
if I put the unknown, if I put the status on filter, it's removing it from rule. I don't know why it's doing that.
The status on the filter.
Yeah.
And then the status.
Yeah. So
why do you have it on the filter on the filter?
No, I'm saying okay, you use them.
Oh, you can't have it in both places.
You can't have it in both places, so we
No,
have to use
it's either one or the other. Yeah.
So we have to use slice to remove it.
I didn't even use slides. You can use a slicer to remove it. Okay. I just removed it here. This is where I unchecked it.
Okay.
If we add it back in.
Okay.
Then the unknown is so small that it's not even coming up on our pie chart.
Okay. Nice. I thought you used the slicer too.
No, you can actually use a slicer. Actually, if you put a slicer, I think if I'm doing an interview, I will put a slicer. So to convince them that I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use a slicer. So the last create a line chart of overall head count by fiscal year. So we have a pivot table again, and we're meant to create a line chart with this. So all we need to do is insert a pivot chart. And we need a line chart. Yeah, and okay. And this is what we have. And then we can say head counts by year. Or head counts by fiscal year. Okay. I'm just going to copy this. Paste, where do they want the line charts?
Today I will teach you the word ridiculous using the Guinness method of creating something hard that
Sorry, are you talking to? Probably not, okay. And the last instruction says add a report title, add any notes as required. So I would employee analysis by type and fiscal year. I mean, you can add your title as you see fit and add your notes as you see fit. Okay. Please always double check your work. So this is the last thing we're going to do today. There is a class exercise I'm going to send now to everyone. Can you please do this? And this is going to cover everything we've done. Like, well, most of the things we've done, and it's like something you encounter in an interview as well. And this is going to be our last lesson. And I'm going to send this to you for you to practice with. Put this in the chat. Ayo, if you can please send this to everyone.
I was just going to ask a quick one now. So all these things that we are doing now, when you are moving into the report template sheet, right? Were you copying it or?
Yeah, I just copied it.
Just copy and paste.
Yeah, so like right click,
What about the
copy, and I pasted here for the charts.
What about the table?
For the table, I just yeah, I copied, but because I didn't want to copy the pivots, so I just copied a bit. If you don't want to copy the whole pivot, so this is where they want us to put the pivot, because according to the instruction, it says table. So I didn't want to make it a pivot, so I just copied. So like if I want to copy this, if you copy part of the pivot, it won't copy as a pivot, it copies the data.
Okay.
But if you want to copy the pivot, you have to select everything and it copies as a pivot. Okay. Because they wanted a table, so I wanted to make it a table.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I hope this has been useful. The main thing is just to practice. Ayo, if you can send the class exercise, I've put it on the chat now. If you can send the class exercise to everyone. So please practice with that. And if you have any issues, you can send me a message on Telegram.
We say this is our last class.
Yeah, this is the last class. We've covered everything we need to cover.
Okay, thank you.
Please practice. I've sent the class exercise. So I sent it to everyone. Please use that like to practice. It's everything we've done. Like, well, everything in the exercise is what we've touched on. I don't think you'll find it difficult. You're using VLOOKUP, you're using index and match, you're using if. for the exercise.
Sorry, I had a question. So, I wasn't able to attend the class not last week, but the week before that. I was away. And the issue is that when the data set gets sent in the chat, it doesn't always make it to the Telegram chat. So I was wondering if you could please post that again so Ayodeji can send that to the chat, because otherwise I'm not able to practice with any data for the last exercise.
Which one is for
Which
the if?
one? Which
For
one?
the if. Practice for the
Yeah.
if function.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's the if one. I don't remember doing that one. Yeah.
The if and the I sent it to the chat now. So I also sent it to Telegram group. Have you seen it?
So in total, you should have practice data 1 to 10. And then you have the full.
Yeah, Kemi, since this is our last class, I don't know if you because I didn't want to take you backward again. You see that VLOOKUP, when I was trying to do it, it keeps giving me the same thing. So I don't know.
As in, what was it giving you?
It's still doing the hashtag thingy. It just says it's not working when I try to do it.
Do you want to share your screen? Let's see what's happening.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop sharing now.
So I know. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where it is here. So
No, but you can't do it.
oh, sorry. That's sorry. So okay, so this is what we are looking up, the advanced education, right?
Yeah.
I just click on advanced education for lookup, then array. So I go to the pivot table, right? And I highlight the table, right?
Yeah.
So the number, the column index number
is 2.
2?
Yeah. You need to type that in.
Okay, 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the range would be
The range you call that's either false or true.
Okay. I think
so that will be false.
Yeah, I think I was the one. Yeah. False. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then if you you know what, because you formatted as a table,
yeah,
it already knows what you want to do. So it's already filled it down for you even before you drag it down. You know that?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I just do for this is I'll do the normal add that we did and I would just drag it down.
Yeah. But you don't need to redo it because it's formula driven, so it should be correct. If you check your
I don't know what happened. The first one is saying it's 0, but it's 7, right?
Yeah, but that's 7. If you go back,
it's 0.
C5 to E5. Let's see. Is it picking the right? C5 is picking, so it's picking it's meant to be C6, so you need to change that.
Okay.
You need to change the formula, so it's C6. So it should be C6 to E6, and then you can enter that.
I can do that for this. Then I now do the sum. This one.
The sum, is your sum working?
Yeah, I did sum. Yeah, sum C4. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's
your total active accounts. Why is it not working? I'm looking at column D.
Column D.
Yeah, why is your column D not working? Escape. If you do escape.
Escape. Yeah.
Escape. Yeah. If you go to 37D4.
Yeah, this
What's
one.
it picking? Yeah.
Okay, I think I probably copied it. I didn't use.
Oh, you copied it. No, you need to
use some. I didn't use some.
Yeah.
Use some. So I just do this.
Yeah.
No, I was supposed to do the first one.
Yeah, the sum of
correct,
B
yeah.
and A. Yeah, that's correct. So if you,
I just drag it down.
yeah. And then I think you copied the last one too, so you need to make it formula driven.
Yeah. Okay. So I just add this to this. Okay. This.
No, if you can just drag it. You don't need to retype it.
Okay.
Just your 936, there's already a formula there, I believe. Yeah, so just drag it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Let me know if you encounter any problems with any issues with the class exercise. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Please practice.
Thanks for your help.